Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1960B, and today's date is September 3rd, 2019, and the title of the episode is Trump's Message Received Evidence Must Be Compelling, the Majority Wins. Now, over the last 30 days, Capital One, the Central Bank of Europe, and the great state of Texas have all been hacked in major data breaches. This is starting to get really out of control, guys. Who's going to be next? VPNs can be used to shield your browsing activity from prying eyes. Here, let me show you how easy this is. Go to Virtual Shield, download the free 30-day trial, install it, and click Connect. This month, Virtual Shield is offering the anniversary special of 30% off all VPN plans. Sign up for a free 30-day trial to Virtual Shield VPN and see what the hype is about. You have nothing to lose. Click on the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse, political, and geopolitical news. Now, remember when Trump tweeted out a message when he showed the picture of the Iranian explosion of a rocket launch? And we said this is a message to the deep state. Well, it looks like we're right. We'll be talking about that a little later in this report. But first, it seems that Representative Omar is feeling the heat. Tom Fitton tweeted out the following. Ilhan Omar feels the heat. Husband confirms scandal. Now, this is out of Powerline blog, and it says, according to sources, Hearsay is telling friends that he will not go to jail for Omar, that while Omar did indeed marry her brother, Ahmed Elmi, for fraudulent purposes, Hearsay did not know at the time that she had married Elmi, that Omar is threatening Hearsay he would be in trouble along with her if the truth were to come out, that Omar has asked him to state publicly that all is well with their marriage, even though it is completely done and finished, and that in fact they are living apart and have been divorced under Islamic law, although they remain legally married. So, as we can see, she is starting to feel the heat. And remember, Trump just doesn't mention things on purpose. He purposely pointed these individuals out, which is the squad, to bring attention to them. And we're going to see a lot more information come out about all of this. Now, when we look back at Spygate, the whole Spygate scandal, and we go back in time, Trump outed the deep state before the meeting in Trump Tower. Now, a few days before the Trump Tower meeting in early January of 2017, before the Trump inauguration, we knew that the deep state did all they could to assist Hillary's election for president and to prevent candidate Trump from winning the election. The operatives then attempted to prevent Trump from governing once he won the election. We know that has all failed. We now know that Obama was involved from at least as early as January 2017. The IG's report released a few days ago provides this evidence. 1. Comey was taking notes immediately after the meeting with President-elect Trump on January 6, 2017. His notes were written in the form of a counterintelligence investigation. Comey met with Obama, Joe Biden, Susan Rice, Sally Yates, the White House Oval Office the day before his meeting with Trump on January 5, 2017. Counterintelligence investigations are performed on behalf of the White House. President Obama was in the White House when Comey met with President Trump in early January 2017. The deep state initiated at least one counterintelligence investigation of President-elect and President Trump in early 2017. Because Obama was president in early January 2017, he was involved in the corrupt sham investigation of President-elect Trump. Now, this is the part that is going to blow everyone's mind. When we go back to January 3rd, 2017, President-elect Trump apparently received his intelligence briefing from the deep state. Late that evening, the president-elect tweeted this out. The intelligence briefing on so-called Russian hacking was delayed until Friday. Perhaps more time needed to build a case. Very strange. Right there and then, Trump was letting everyone know that he knew Obama's deep state was working against him. In June, Trump tweeted out a warning. Someone should call Obama up. The Obama administration spied on a rival presidential campaign using federal agencies. I mean, that seems like a headline to me. At Tucker Carlson, it will all start coming out and the witch hunt will end. presidential harassment. What must they have thought when President-elect Trump called them out a few days before their obstruction case began? He knew. The patriots knew. Now, Jay Sekulow has now uncovered a second FBI operative which was planted inside the Trump White House after the first operative left the bureau in 2017. He tweeted out the following. Did Comey's FBI collude with Clinton's lawyers to circumvent federal law? We have the documents that tell the story. Sekulow reported that the second FBI operative, Jordan Ray Kelly, who replaced Comey spy Anthony Ferrante, who was placed into the White House to spy for the FBI against the Trump administration. FBI operative Jordan Ray Kelly took over for Ferrante and gave him access inside the Trump White House after he left government to work for BuzzFeed. Via ACLJ report, Ferrante was replaced in the White House by another FBI official, Jordan Ray Kelly, who signed security logs for Ferrante to enter the White House while he was contracted by BuzzFeed. Kelly left the White House last year and also joined FTI Consulting, the same firm Ferrante works for. So Jordan Ray Kelly currently works for FTI Consulting with Anthony Ferrante. Boom. Now, Comey's problems, they've just begun. Think about it. Think about what has happened since the IG report came out. FBI policies were not followed, stole FBI paperwork, leaked confidential information. He was pursuing his own political agenda with no regard for FBI policies because he believed he was above the policies, above the law. And we didn't even get into the part where he blocked the investigation into Hillary Clinton, into her email server. We didn't even get to the part where he signed off on FISAs. We didn't even get to the part where he orchestrated the special counsel to come in. Think about all of this. We still have a lot to go here. Paul Sperry uncovered something very interesting in regards to Comey's pal Richmond. You know that guy that Comey leaked the memos to? Paul Sperry tweeted out the following. Breaking. Comey granted his New York Times leaker pal Richmond special classified clearance up to TS-SCI from June 2015 when Trump announced his candidacy to July 2017 after Trump fired Comey, even though Richmond was employed as a college professor and not the FBI. Once again, the walls are closing in around Comey, and we haven't even gotten to the meat of all of this. Again, this is the opening act. This is to get the public used to what's coming, to understand what these people have done and what they're about. And as more and more information pours out, people are starting to realize. Now, the bigger question is, where are the scope memos that Rod Rosenstein gave to Robert Mueller? It has been 103 days since Trump empowered Attorney General Bill Barr to release the original authorizing framework of the Mueller investigation, which began on May 17, 2017. A Mueller investigation that concluded 6 months ago. And yet, we are not allowed to know what the authorizing framework was, nor the second Department of Justice scope memo of August 2nd, 2017, nor the third Department of Justice scope memo of October 20th, 2017. Think about it. None of this has been leaked out. This is all part of the investigation. They don't want this information out just yet. Because what does the scope memo tell us? It tells us what their agenda was. And I do believe that this will be coming. Now remember, the second scope memo was issued by Rod Rosenstein to Mueller on October 20, 2017. The transparent intent of the second memo was to provide Weissman and Mueller with ammunition and authority to investigate specific targets for specific purposes. One of those targets was General Michael Flynn's son, Michael Flynn Jr. So think about this for a second. Think about what Sidney Powell's doing right now, holding the prosecutors in contempt. I believe this is going to get Bill Barr involved because she wants certain information. They don't want to give it to her. And what do these scope memos show? Remember, they're holding all this back. This all will be produced. And remember, they're going to trip feed it. How do you inflict pain? Well, you do it very slowly. You chip away at all of it. And each time it comes out, they have to defend it. They feel the pain. Then the next round, and it gets worse and worse and worse as time goes on. Now, Lindsey Graham, he said something very interesting. Lindsey Graham, he's the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. He wrote a letter to Attorney General William Barr asking him to allow the public to see Department of Justice Inspector General Michael Horowitz's process. I want the public to see the process in real time, he said. I want the FISA warrant application to be revealed to the public as much as possible. What do we know from the Horowitz report regarding Comey? He was basically accused of manipulating the system, ignoring rules and procedures that are in place regarding memos owned by the government to get an outcome. Comey wanted a special counsel appointed. He manipulated the system to get the outcome, Graham said. The question for me, did they manipulate the warrant system to get a warrant against Carter Page? Did they manipulate the counterintelligence investigation against Papadopoulos? Did they manipulate the outcome of the Clinton investigation because they wanted her to win and Trump to lose? So I'm looking for a pattern of manipulation and bias. And does that pattern rise to the level of criminality? We will soon hear from the Inspector General about the warrant system. He said, what I'm looking for is accountability and responsibility. What should the price be for somebody who lies to the FISA court to get a warrant against an American citizen? We need to hold those accountable who watch us when it comes to getting warrants against anybody, regardless of political party in question. Did they manipulate the FISA court? Did they manipulate the counterintelligence rules against Papadopoulos? Did they let Clinton go because they have a political bias? Time will tell. Why is Graham doing this? He's projecting. The truth is coming out, and the public is getting prepared for the truth. The question is, why does the American public need to be drip-fed the information? Because we need to bring them on board. A lot of them have been sleeping. Remember, they've been lied to for a very long time. The story they believed isn't true, and the story that was hidden from them, that's the true story. Let's go back to post-1644, because this is really important at the stage that we're at. And Anon said, I almost hope they don't ask. It would be fun to watch them try to manage the spin when 90% of the country is aware of you and all you've been shining a light on, while the mainstream media still can acknowledge it. I can see them squirming now. Q said, it must happen. Conspiracy no more. Think of every post made. It would force us to prove everything stated to avoid looking crazy, correct? What do they fear the most? Public awakening. If they ask, they self-destruct. They know this is real. See attacks. The build is near complete, growing exponentially. You are the frame. You are the support. People will be lost. People will be terrified. People will reject. People will need to be guided. Do not be afraid. We will succeed. Timing is everything. Think Huber. Think Department of Justice, FBI, reorg. Think sex, child arrest, news. Think resignations, loss of control. How do you remove evil in power unless you reveal the ultimate truth? It must be compelling to avoid a divide, political attack, optics. We are the majority, growing, worldwide, sheep no more, together. And think about what Q has just said here. People are going to be lost. Remember, they've been told a story that's going to turn out to be completely fake. And the story that was hidden from them, that's the true story. And people are going to be lost. Think about what Q said about sex, child arrests, Epstein, Huber, everything else. All of this has to do with optics. The evidence has to be compelling, and it will be. They set this up on purpose to drive a specific agenda, to show who and what these people are. crimes against humanity, treasonous crimes. They weren't doing things in the best interest of the people. They were doing things in the best interest for themselves. It was a political agenda from non-elected leaders. Think about this. The elite are now being exposed. Hollywood is being exposed. And those who scream the loudest, they have the most to lose. Tiffany Fitzhenry tweeted out the following. Why Hollywood is canceled. Deborah Messing, Nazi brown shirt. Batman director reveals sick level of sexual promiscuity. Hollywood power broker involved in rape extortion plot. Disney, Iger, and Eisner charged with violating federal sex trafficking laws. All just this week, folks. And she gave different articles showing that, yes, these individuals, they are in trouble. Let's go back in time to the Kavanaugh hearings. It seems the conspiracy theory surrounding the hearings turns out to be the truth now. It was a hit job. Christine Blasey Ford and her attorney, they were motivated in their attack on the federal judge, Brett Kavanaugh, by their passion to protect abortion rights. Now, in Search and Destroy, Inside the Campaign Against Brett Kavanaugh, this is a book, National Law Journal's Ryan Lovelace revealed Ford and attorney Deborah Katz leveled charges of sexual misconduct in hopes of eventually tainting decisions by Kavanaugh on abortion. What's more, he wrote, they worked overtime to orchestrate their explosive charges, heatedly denied by Kavanaugh, to land at the end of the confirmation hearings in a bid to derail Trump's second pick to the high court. And we all knew this. And of course, it turns out that this was a hit job. Now let's move on to the Odessa event, because that whole event is falling apart for the deep state. We know that the shooter had a criminal record. Governor Greg Abbott tweeted out the following. Not only did the Odessa gunman have a criminal history, he also previously failed a gun purchase background check in Texas, and he didn't go through a background check for the gun he used in Odessa. We must keep guns out of criminal hands. Remember, we had Warren, we had Schumer. Before they knew the facts, we need a background check. Well, this is a criminal. He failed the background check. It worked. Where did he get the weapon? Think about it for a second. Think about prohibition. Now, when they said liquor was illegal, nobody's allowed to have it, do you really think people didn't have liquor? How did they get it? Well, they either created it on their own, or they got it through the black market. Believe me, the elite, the establishment individuals, they had liquor. The everyday person, maybe not, unless they went to the black market to get it, but you were still able to get it. With weapons, if you're a criminal, do you really go through the process to get a weapon legally, or do you go to the black market because you are a criminal and you don't follow laws to get a weapon? So what's the purpose of all these gun laws? Think about it. Think about drugs. Think about cocaine, heroin, and the rest. They're illegal, so nobody has them, right? No, where do people get them? They go to the black market to get them. Everything that they're talking about is absolute propaganda. What they're doing is they're taking it away from the everyday, law-abiding citizen. Criminals will always figure out a way to get what they need. Just because you make something illegal doesn't mean they don't get it. What it means is those people with guns, for instance, who want a weapon to protect themselves, they will not be able to protect themselves when a criminal gets a weapon on the black market. I mean, look at the gun-free zones, where a criminal comes in and open fires in an area where everyday citizens can't have a weapon. And look at the places where you can have a weapon and you can carry a weapon. We see a lot of everyday people stop those individuals right on the spot. Now, what's very interesting is Alyssa Milano. She has challenged Ted Cruz to a debate on gun rights and the Constitution. he accepted the challenge. We're going to have to wait to see how this all plays out. Now, let's go back to Trump's tweet about the catastrophic accident in Iran. Remember the tweet? The United States of America was not involved in the catastrophic accident during final launch preparations for the Safir SLV launch of Semen Launch Site 1 in Iran. I wish Iran best wishes and good luck in determining what happened at Site 1. Then showed a picture of the site, and many individuals were saying, well, this was a low-flying drone because of satellite. It can't, take a picture this close. It's not possible, so it had to be a drone. Well, it turns out that it was from a satellite. Amateur satellite trackers say they believe an image tweeted by Trump on Friday came from one of America's most advanced spy satellites. The image almost certainly came from satellite known as USA 224. Now, this satellite is a multi-billion-dollar KH-11 reconnaissance satellite, and it has the ability to take photographs where it's like inches away. It almost uses the same type of telescope as Hubble. Now, this satellite, there were many before this, KH-7, KH-9, which is hexagon, and that code name was Big Bird, or Keyhole 9. Where did we hear that before? We heard the name Big Bird before. Well, let's go back to post-2019. This was August 2018. It says Big Bird 9 now offline. Another CIA satellite bites the dust. Well, think about this. Q, back in August of 2018, told us that they were able to take a CIA satellite offline. Trump then, with a newer version of this KH version satellite, takes a picture of Iran. Now, the KH-9, the older model, the best ground resolution achieved by the main cameras was better than 2 feet. The newer version, the KH-11, can do it around 2 inches. Big difference. And I do believe that Trump tweeted the image out to show they have the KH-11 online, that the patriots are in control, and they have the ability to watch everything, down to the minute detail. Think about this. This was a message. Now, if you take that image and you flip it upside down, it is the letter Q. Boom. Message received. The message was for the Anons. The message was to the deep state. The patriots are in control. The majority, the patriots, are going to win with compelling evidence. Listen, everyone. Thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.